Best of police instant karma and convenient comp. In today's world, everyone gets a license whether they know how to drive or not. Some get caught doing dangerous and foolish things, but rightfully so. Today, we'll look at several instances where cops were a bit too convenient when it came to foolish drivers and what they do on the road. When you see someone driving like this, sit back, relax, and don't be afraid to phone the cops. Let's start with today's video. A squadron of police officers on bikes was conveniently in place to see a white van driver run the red light. How on earth could he not see so many officers? From the left side, a car comes and stops in between an intersection and gets rear-ended by an SUV. The SUV runs away, but too late for him. A cop saw him immediately. Things get a little unusual when two cop cars, both speeding through an intersection, ram into each other. Doesn't get any more convenient than this. This time, a truck driver tries to overtake another truck. The cop is right behind him though, and as soon as the cop sees him almost run into oncoming traffic, the game ends there. An angry driver hits his car into another person to vent out his weird anger issues. He thought nobody saw that, but he was wrong. A police officer catches up to him and karma hits back hard.
Oh my fucking god!
The driver of this Toyota backs right into a parked car and tries to make a run for it, but thankfully a cop saw what he did and stops him in his tracks. This dumb driver thinks he's being clever when he runs the red light like the idiot he is. A cop has the same thinking and pulls him right over.
Wow.
Being on the highway does not mean that you can speed everywhere like this driver on the right. He learns his lesson as soon as a cop makes him stop on the shoulder. Shoulders are meant for emergency vehicles or cars that have broken down and are going through any inconvenience. This guy uses one to cut everyone off, including a cop.
What?
People fail to understand the fact that you cannot turn when you have oncoming traffic. This driver was reminded of this rule when he makes the very exact mistake. This car had ample time to go in, but the cyclist had ample time to slow down too. Who would be at fault in this situation? Comment down below. Here we have yet another speedster that's flying down the highway at dangerous speeds. His joyride's instantly cut short when a cop sees him going fast.
Correct! Correct! Woo! Man, I was like, this guy's going so fast. Busted.
That car right there used a right turning lane to go left. Seems very subtle, but he failed to see that there was a trooper right behind him.
Take resources from the development team to make these demos, which you may or may not even enjoy, and only for a small subset of people who would pay for that $18. But everyone clearly has that. And that's already built in. Position I will easily.
Some people like to think that they're above the rest of us, like these queue jumpers that try to cut everyone off. Thankfully, cops were there to remind them that they are not. Likewise, another driver drove in the emergency lane, but Highway Patrol was conveniently there as if they were waiting for him or something. Drag racing is fine until you do it in the middle of a straight. These guys were so fixated that they didn't even see the cop roll up behind them. This Prius driver turned into the wrong lane while making a left and cut off the car behind him. This behavior is unacceptable, and this cop agrees. Keep your eyes on the front of the line. A confused driver goes right, makes a U-turn, and then goes back left for God knows what reason. Thankfully, a cop's right there to help him with his confusion.
Yes! Oh, I can't believe it!
A car runs a red light thinking the 5-second rule applies here rather than germs. Regardless, karma strikes again. An Acura driver speeds straight through the light from a turn lane. A white Mustang sees this and wants in on the action. A cop decides he'll tag along too. Like before, here another idiot decides to cut traffic via the shoulder of the road. The law was right behind him and hopped on to make things more fun. Express lanes are only for vehicles that need to turn left or right on highways, but this guy used it to cut the entire traffic jam off. Sadly for him, he makes things worse for himself. A cop car loses control in the rain while making a turn and sideswipes another car. Can this be declared as being convenient justice or not? A driver here tries to drive in the opposite lane, and to everyone's surprise, a cop sees him coming from his side mirror and blocks his path. Convenient, but dangerous too, don't you think? A pair of straight racers blow past a cop on a Florida highway. One of them gets caught and arrested while the other leaves his friend behind. Terrible friendship right there.
Speed all the way in 10.
As soon as his light turns red, the SUV in the oncoming lane tries to jump it slowly, but his efforts are stopped by the cop who is right behind him. Russian drivers will road rage anywhere on the road. These two were about to knock some teeth out, but an officer had other ideas. Look how scared they are now. Not only do these cars jump the red light, but they do it at full speed, and the way that cop turns so forcefully just shows how angry he's gonna be. A white car is seen turning at a no turn on red. Apparently, the driver was blind enough not to see the sheriff's truck right next to him.
Oh.
A goofy driver cuts across 4 lanes on a high and everyone in them, including a cop. Looks like someone made a big mistake.
Sales and Coca-Cola killed themselves. You see in the stores and you're like, how enough can I get to know? But that is not something I was expecting. So Jack, what's it take me for our buddies? Working Fit, Dasani, Vitamin Water, Powerade, and of course, they had
The left lane is for only turning left, and the white SUV driver decides to go straight instead, cutting everyone off. The officer follows suit and makes right of the situation.
It was a cop behind them. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, they got pulled over.
You arrest one red light runner, another one is immediately born. Is there no stopping these mad people? A couple of friends race each other in this tunnel and one gets cut off by a car. He flashes his lights to make way, but the car then flashes its red and blue lights back at him to show who has prettier lights on their cars.